Hey everyone, welcome back, and this is my review of Ace of Diamond Episode 3 entitled Not Qualified to be a Pitcher. Alright, so this episode of Ace of Diamond was mostly played up for comedy, but I still felt that there was still some drama in it. Probably my only actual complaint though, which is so far into being a fucking nitpick that you can take it with a grain of salt basically, but I do feel the need to mention it, though, is that I felt that the drama and the comedy wasn't balanced good enough in this episode, which is odd for Production IG, because I understand that they don't want to make it a full-on drama and tragedy and whatnot, because they are basically fresh off of Attack on Titan. However, I do also understand that they don't want to make it a full-on comedy, because that would not be Production IG's style, okay? And also, well, for a series like this, it'd probably be kind of boring. It'd be good for a while, but get boring after eventually, alright. So, yes, but I did feel that it wasn't balanced too well here, but like I said, it's such a fucking nitpick that I just felt the need to mention it, but just take it with a grain of salt, alright? Honestly. So, yeah. But anyway, basically, this episode starts off with Lee-Jun waking up late for practice, and alright, and he ends up he blames it on his roommates for not waking him up in time because it was their fault that he stayed up late anyways, but of course, since they got there on time, and they claim that it's not their fault, you know, and when he finally gets there, he peeks around the corner to see them with the coach already, and he meets that one catcher that he met 6 months ago when he visited the school, alright, who apparently is arriving late as well. And that the catcher convinces him to try to sneak into the group as a ninja without he claims like a ninja without the coach noticing it. And he assures him that he did so last year and succeeded. So both of them tries it, and of course Lee-Jun fails. He and his roommate gets punished for this, and so does that pitcher guy. I keep forgetting his name. Apparently he wasn't as good as he thought, even though he got in line. The coach still saw him. Now, let's talk about this coach guy for a bit, alright? The coach is depicted, of course, as your generic hard-ass coach, alright? There's really no other way to say it. That's the way he's depicted. However, I still like him as a character for two reasons. One, he's not all talk with no bark. He can as he showed about midway, I think it was, through this episode or something, maybe a little over, he has a very good pitching arm. He has not lost it at all. He's very talented, alright? And one thing at the end of this episode, which I'll talk about in a little bit, also why I like him as a character. Alright, but basically, because Lee-Jun was late, he doesn't allow him to stick around for practice, or he let him stick around, but he doesn't allow him to practice with everyone else, and Lee-Jun complains about this and is basically really rude to him and whatnot, and claiming that it's his dream to be an ace pitcher. He believes he wants it here more than anyone else here does, alright, and he basically complains at the coach telling him to give him a chance. And so the coach does. That's basically when he shows his pitching arm to hit a fence really far away. And then he tells Lee-Jun to hit the same fence with one throw. And if he can't do it, if he refuses, he can't practice with them. However, if he can't do it, like if he tries and he can't do it, then he has to promise to give up being a pitcher. So he does it, and of course he fails. It curves at the last fucking second, which must have been horribly fucking embarrassing for him. Alright. However, of course he's not going to give up being a pitcher, because he's not going to give up on his dreams because, well, he's basically Eren Jaeger. I mean, come on. IG is fresh off of Titan. Come on, man. I mean, their personalities are kind of similar in a way, you know, in terms of their stubbornness and their assertiveness and their willingness to succeed, you know, to want to succeed really badly. However, their character designs are almost identical. Anyways, at the end of the episode, that one recruiter of Ijun tries to convince the coach to allow Ijun to practice with him, and he says I can't allow him to practice with us yet. Now that's the other reason why I like this character. This could mean numerous things. My suspicion, though, is that he is still going to allow Ijun to prove himself. But until he does, he's not going to allow him to practice with them, alright? I also suspect that he wants to try to get rid of Ijun's arrogant attitude and kind of cocky attitude as well. Although considering that his personality is very similar to Eren Jagger, I highly doubt that will happen. Just saying. Alright. That's just like a suspicion of mine, I guess I could say. Alright, so yeah. But anyways, though, other than that, other than the complaint that I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, or at the beginning of this review, I did really like this episode. Didn't really find any other problems other than that. And like I said before, that was such a huge fucking nitpick that you can just take it with a grain of salt, really. So yeah, but anyways, overall, I hope you enjoyed this review, guys. These after guys, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.